The second video for 9.2 is going to start off with the Silver City problem. And I'm just going to go with type the whole thing and then the 3 questions as well, and then we'll be ready to roll. Silver City is 24 miles away. Gus has driven 1/4 of the distance. Emma has driven 3/4 of the distance. So our questions are, how many miles has Gus driven? How many miles has Emma driven? And then how many times as far has Emma driven than Gus? So let's look at this right here. First thing we're going to do, the first problem is very much like the problems we worked with for 9.1. We're going to take the total number of miles, which is 24, and we're going to times that by 1/4 because that's what Gus drove. Okay? All right? Remember, we want to think of this as 24 over 1. When we multiply across, we got 24 times 1 is 24. And then 1 times 4 is 4. And now we have an improper fraction. We want to convert. We want to take our numerator, 24, and divide it by 4. And just to remind you what that looks like, it's going to be 24 divided by 4. Okay? I can skip count by 4s. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. That gave me 6. So our answer is Gus drove 6 miles. Okay. Now we can come to many different ways to figure out the next part in terms of the number of miles that Emma drove. Okay, but we're going to use it. We're going to do the mathematical way. We're going to take the total number of miles, which again is 24, and I'm just going to scoot this over here, and we're going to multiply by that by what she drove. She drove 3/4, and we're going to set that equal the same as something. Remember, 24 is over 1, so we're going to take 24 times 3. Well, 25 times 3 is 75, so we're going to take away 3, and we're going to get 72 there. And then 4 times 1 is 4. And now we're going to figure out how many 4s I can take out of 72. And it looks like, in case we forgot, 72 divided by 4. That's 1, 4, 32, because we bring down that. How many 4s in 32? That should be 8, 32, 0. So our answer is, and I'm going to have to switch colors here because I'm running out of room, 18 miles. Okay, so we have 18 miles and we have 6 miles. And then we look at our third question, how many times as far has Emma driven than Gus? Well, what's the relationship between 6 and 18? You know, what's that relationship? Well, I probably shouldn't do that because then you're going to think greater than, less than, or equal. Okay, what's the relationship? Well, if I think about it, 6, if I multiply it by 3, I'll get 18. So the answer is 3, oops, I need my 3 times as far. Okay, meaning Emma drove 3 times as far as Gus. But we could have seen that if we just look at here, 3/4 and 1/4. How many more fourths? Well, there's 3 compared to 1. Okay. Let's look at a couple more problems. They are in your handouts. We're going to talk about a book and a couple others. So give me a second and I'll type those up. All right, if 1/7 of a book is 4 pages, how many pages is 2/7 of the book? Well, what we have to, when we look at this problem, boys and girls, this was like our example in terms of the second example of driving to Prairie Town, or Tuan as it was written. We have to think about what 2/7 is. Remember that 2/7 is 1/7 plus 1/7 is going to equal 2/7. Okay, do we know what 1/7 is? Yeah, so it's going to be 4 plus 4 will give us 8. So 2/7 of the book is 8 pages. All right. Now let's look at a couple more that aren't in your handout. Don't worry about writing them down, but I want you to worry about making sure you understand and you do the problem. Okay. Our 2 new problems are, if 1/5 of a distance is 3 kilometers, how far is 4/5? And then our second one is, if 1/8 of a container weighs 2 pounds, how many pounds is 3/8 of a container? So why don't you pause the video, why don't you take some time and see what you get as a response for these 2 problems. When you're done, restart the video and check and see how you did. I am guessing now that you have your answer. Now let's check and see how you did. Okay, if 1/5 is 3 kilometers, what we want to figure out is what 4/5 is. So what we're going to do is the simplest way to look at it is we're going to take 1/5 4 times. So 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3, or we can do 3 times 4. And in both cases, we're going to get 12, and we label it kilometers. Okay, so 1/5 is 3, 4/5, we're going to take 3 4 times, or 3 times 4 to get 12. All right, and if 1/8 of a container weighs 2 pounds, how many pounds is 3/8 of a container? Well, again, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take 1/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8, which is the same as 2 plus 2 plus 2, which is the same as 6. So it's going to be 6 pounds. Okay, I also could have taken 2 times 3 and gotten 6 as well. All right, so that's how we can figure it out using addition, which I used here, or multiplication.